If you're ready to transform your backyard into a haven of relaxation and luxury, look no further than our amazing podcast sponsor, L'Acqua Azzurra Pool Services. With over 20 years of industry experience, L'Acqua Azzurra is a name you can trust when it comes to services, equipment repairs, and restoration for all things pools. If you're looking in the South Florida area for your pool to be serviced on a month-to-month basis, L'Acqua Azzurra boasts an impressive 5-star rating on Google reviews, and it's a testament to their dedication to customer satisfaction and top-notch service. Also, if you mention Messi & Co., you will get your first month of pool service absolutely free. So don't wait. For pool service, patio renovation, or more, call them now at 954-793-7206 and get a free quote for any project. Thanks, L'Acqua Azzurra.
Hello, friends from Five Reasons and Messi and Co. We are back with another episode here before another match. Inter Miami facing Chicago Fire. Today is going to be Ashley and myself. No Gian, no Austin. Austin's traveling. Gian is busy, and they'll be back sometime soon. And we're going to do this preview real quick so you guys have something to listen to before this important match. Inter Miami is still trying to get into the playoffs, and we're going to check a little bit of what's the situation right now and the reality of if it's a real possibility for Inter Miami to make the playoffs. Is Lionel Messi going to play? We're all having the same questions. We're all wondering what's going to happen tomorrow night on Wednesday and for the rest of the regular season. Ashley, how are you? Welcome back to Messi and Co.
I'm doing good. It's been, we've all kind of had a few days to, I don't know if cool off is the word, but
Yeah, I think so, because I was listening to that pod and you were all pissed, and as you should, because Inter Miami almost won a game that they maybe should have lost to a team that it's a real contender. They're in the playoff race, and I feel you. It was right after the game, so you're saying you're feeling better now?
Yeah, I feel better. I feel like we're kind of in this situation where tomorrow will be very telling, I think, about where we are in the playoff race and if we have a chance. I don't believe Messi traveled with the team, but I do believe that the plan is for him to play the next game. So I think depending on tomorrow's result will indicate a lot in terms of the direction the team is going to go in. Obviously now with international duty coming up, it's going to throw another wrench in things. So it'll be an interesting last couple of games, but we got to just keep building and growing. And I think the club is getting its fair share of slack from people, from fans, from media for the way it's handled a bunch of different topics, which we don't need to keep going into. We've talked about them at length, but hopefully we start to see some positive, changes and information, and we can just continue and finish the season on a high note or make the playoffs.
Yeah, and let's review before we go into the Messi thing, which is what probably most of you are interested on while you're listening to this preview. Let's check what's the situation right now on the table, because this is a very important game for this particular reason. Right here, you see it right there in front of your face. Inter Miami is just 4 points away from Chicago. If they win, they're just 1 point away, and they have one more match to play. So they're right there in contention. Of course, we're all thinking about Montreal and New York FC that are up all the way over here. But the first thing that you have to do is beat their next rival, which is the Chicago Fire. That's one of the reasons why we're saying here, you know what, we'll still have a chance. Inter Miami has a chance to really make it to the playoffs. And here's the situation. You have to beat that team that is right in front of you. And that's the only way you're going to be able to actually get to them. If my Inter loses this game, they're probably out already of the race, even though you can still try to make it work, make the math work.
Right.
But if you lose this game, you're out of the contention. That's the reality of it. So thinking about that and talking about the situation, I mean, we're all kind of like, what's going on with Messi? You shared a video today in our WhatsApp group from one of the reporters that was there for the training at Dry Pink Stadium today, and he looks like he's doing better, right? Lionel Messi. But is he ready to play? That's a key question here. I mean, and if he doesn't play with Inter Miami, I hope he doesn't play with Argentina either, right? Because if not, he's gonna make a lot of people mad here. If he just saves himself to play for Argentina in the qualifiers, that's gonna hurt a little bit.
But that is just so everyone can prepare themselves. That's 100% what's going to happen.
you
The
think so?
people,
You think that's what's gonna happen with
yeah.
Lionel Messi?
Well, he may play Saturday, but he's going to go play for in the qualifiers. Unless something happens, he's going to do it. And I think it's going to really, really upset people, and rightfully so, because this is the beginning of the World Cup qualifiers, and Argentina is ranked number 1 or 2 in the world. They don't need him for this, but your club does for this stretch. And if it makes it seem like you haven't played in these pivotal games for the playoffs because you would rather be healthy for 2 of the first 4 World Cup qualifying games that you're clearly going to get into. I mean, I'm sure we'll get some back and forth in the comments, and people may disagree that, Argentina is above all else. And I understand that, but, he's getting paid $50 million a year, and he's a lot of fans and MLS around the country, the ticket sales, the jersey sales, all of these things to support him. For that to happen would be pretty disappointing.
It goes way beyond sports, right? It's not just a sports decision. It's not just, let me save myself to play with Argentina. And like you said, Argentina's, of course, and Brazil, they're above the rest of the South American teams. They're going to play Paraguay and Peru. Those are 2 games that they should be able to manage and win both with or without Messi. But here's a good moment of seeing what's really on Messi's plate and what's his priority, right? As a player is a tough moment. I think he's probably going to travel, but I don't know if he's going to play both games. He might play for the second game. I was checking on the dates here of the actual games. The second game is on October the 17th. So you have 2 weeks from now for that game. So that would make sense, right? Okay, so you have 2 more weeks. And for looking at what we saw today, he could be able to play that game against Peru, which is the 4th game. The game before, it's 5 days before, so that would give you 9 days from the moment we're recording this podcast and 8 days from the moment they play Chicago Fire tomorrow night. So that one is a little closer, and I don't know if that he's gonna make it. But what you said is very important. I mean, it's not just is he gonna play or not? Is Inter Miami gonna be able to make the playoffs or not? Is the amount of money that people are paying because they think they're gonna watch Messi play, and then when you get to the stadium in some of these games, he's not even in the he's not even in the bench available to not even warm up and play 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. So it's kind of awkward for MLS, for Inter Miami. I just got in the MLS channel today, they send another thing about Messi and MLS and Apple Plus, and I'm like, I don't know if this is the smartest idea looking at it from the market side, right? Because you're selling something that it's there, but it's not really there. How do you feel about this?
Well, what's going to happen is next year people aren't going to pay to go to games as much, and
they're gonna save it until the last minute, right? Like, you can't be paying so much in advance, like $200, $300, $400 in some places because you don't know. I mean,
and I just think that the lack of communication is what's really just rubbed everyone really the wrong way. Because let's say that it did work out. Okay, he tried to come back for Toronto. He had a bit of a setback, and now it's just going to work out that he's finally better in time for Argentina, and Inter Miami got knocked out of the playoffs. So why shouldn't he go play for Argentina? Like, let's say that is what happens, which would be perfectly reasonable. He's played so much, and all those, he's 36 or 37, and he's won us a trophy in the summer, this, that, and the other. But the fact that no one said anything to anybody and just made fans and people who paid their hard-earned money to go to the stadiums, to watch on Apple TV, etc., and not said a word is such a bad precedent to send that, it's going to reflect so poorly on the whole league. Not just Inter Miami, it's going to reflect poorly on everybody.
Yeah, and it's even Tata Martino. It's Messi not talking and like, hey, I'm sorry, guys, that I haven't been able to play. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is such a special deal because you're not just getting a contract. deal with your team. You're getting a contract from Adidas, you're getting a contract from MLS and the subscription payments. So it's a different deal. And I feel like they're not treating it in this particular scenario like they should or like they could do it, since it's so different from a regular contract player and team. You have the ability to actually go out there and, hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm injured, I'm working through it, I'm doing whatever I can to try to get back to the field, to the pitch, but it's just so far it hasn't been possible for me. My team needs me, and I'm sorry that I can't be there, and I'm sorry that I can't be there for you guys, for the fans that are paying this much money to watch me play. That would be something nice. Not even, I mean, they can write a statement or something, say something, right, about the situation. They're just like you say, they're just looking away, and we don't know.
And we don't care that you spend all your money. We don't care what you expect. You don't care how long you wait. We don't. And I mean, you really, you wish Messi would want to maybe put out something like because he wants to, but it's not his fault. This is not, you know what I mean?
He has an entire team to do that.
It's completely, it's how the team is handling it and league. And I'm going to tell you, and we've said it a million times, there are going to be huge changes for next season, or else people are not going to support the product. And MLS has the chance to really fumble the bag. Like people don't want to subscribe next year. They're like, well, he's not going to play anyway. I'm not going to subscribe to watch, or I'm going to just stream it illegally, or I'm not paying to go to the games. And Inter Miami, people aren't paying that season ticket prices when they see already how it's treated with him playing or not playing and them not providing fans anything. So I think that, they'll see it reflected in their pocket, and there's just like a sour feeling around everything. And it's not his fault that he tweaked himself. He's played over 1,000 minutes for the team. He's played, and we've already won a trophy. Like, he's done a great job. But how the media, how the Inter Miami press team, and how the MLS press team has handled it is a lot to be desired, and shows it just shows that you're not even on the same planet as other of the big clubs in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement. Let's put it that way. They could have done it way better.
Only time will tell. We'll see. We'll see tomorrow. It's not 100% confirmed that he's not playing. It feels likely, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And just before we actually dive into the match and those who are available and what could be the strategy for Tata Martino to try to get these 3 points. Lastly, do you think is it worthy to risk Lionel Messi's health right now? Because I was talking to Ethan Skolnick yesterday at the Heat media day, and he asked me, "Is Messi gonna play?" Like the same question that we're all wondering. I'm like, I don't know, but like if you risk it, this could turn into a more serious injury, and then you're not just gonna lose him for this 3 or 4 games, but you can lose him like for 3, 4, 5, 6 months if you really. And he's not that young anymore. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that I think it depends on like the severity of it. I think it's not. I would say it like it is, but that sounds bad. Let me give some context.
Yes.
One, like you just said, after the season's over, we have a 3-month break or 4-month break where when he's not playing, we're not playing. I mean, he'll have some international stuff, but there's no games, so he has plenty of time to rest. Number 2, I think he knows himself really better than anyone. And just like he came out in the 37th minute, I don't think he let himself get to a point where he could, from a, muscle side, severely hurt himself. I just don't think he'll put himself in that position. Like, again, nothing is certain, but I would say that I would feel more comfortable and confident that, one, he knows how to manage his body really well. And I don't think he'd play it if he really felt like he couldn't. And I think it's a matter of that. And if something like that happens with the Toronto game, okay, he re-aggravates it. I'm not saying I want it. I obviously hope it doesn't. I hope he keeps getting better and better. But this is the very end of the season. These are a couple games left to get into the playoffs, and than anything, I think it's presenting something to the fans. Like, it's showing the fans that he does care about the league, about the team, etc. And on the other hand, though, maybe we would all be saying things differently, and we would feel differently if we just knew what was actually going on. Like, if we knew the severity of the injury or of the feeling or of the consequences or of the timeline, we'd all be saying much different too. Like if this was a real, like, let's say a 2 centimeter hamstring tear, which has apparently been debunked that it is not that, but let's just say it was, then none of us would be saying play. But we don't know anything. And so because we don't know, we have to assume that if every game Tata is going to say that Messi is available, it has the potential to be available, and then he doesn't play, we're going to be pissed. And I think we have the right to be.
And that's how it's crisis management at the end of the day. I mean, you're in the middle of
crisis management.
Right. You're in the middle of the worst scenario that you could have, which is Lionel Messi getting injured, which is, I mean, this was possible. I mean, when you're bringing a player, and it happens in any sport, this is a possibility, right? Injuries are just part of the game. It's just how you manage it.
How you handle it. Yeah, right. If we got a statement from Inter Miami 2 or 3 weeks ago, after the Toronto game, or even after Argentina, that said Lionel Messi felt or has a slight injury to his hamstring or to his whatever it is, he will be questionable moving forward. Okay, would one of us complain? Would any of us feel? Would we be like, damn? Well, yeah, he did put in a lot of minutes during the summer. Damn,
we got entire team did.
Yeah, and we did. He's done amazing. Great, let him get healthy. Let's start again next season. But no, instead we have this where nobody knows what's happening. His teammates don't know what's happening. And if after all this we get kicked out of the playoff chase, we lose the US Open Cup final at home, and he starts for Argentina next week, I think it would be a shame. It would.
Yeah, I know. And then Argentina also plays in November, and he's probably gonna play that match. They play those matches because it's against Uruguay and Brazil. Those are
which is totally. And if they felt at any point that by playing him now over this next week or the week prior was going to seriously injure him and keep him out for months, great. But if he's playing next week, I don't want to hear it. I know I'll get some hate in the comments, but it's true.
It's all right.
If we just had some honesty, if we just had some clarity, then we would feel completely different. I would never expect him to play if he was injured. And if it happened to work out that he gets better in time for Argentina, then that's great. But we still deserve to be knowledgeable of why and how.
Yeah, this happened a lot with PSG too. Like they thought Messi was saving himself just for Argentina. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And
PSG had Neymar and Mbappe.
Yeah, well, yeah. I know. And they were not just trying to make the playoffs; they were fighting for championships, and it's a different scenario. This is not the first time this happens. So it's been part of Messi's career, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully he can play this game and the next couple of games that are left in this regular season. All right, so now let's dive into the game. Inter Miami, Chicago Fire. No Messi. Let's say Messi's not available because that's what's realistic right now. He's not going to start this game. So what does Tata Martino do with his team for this match? What do you think he's going to do, or what would you want him to do, which could be two different things or not? I've heard in the comments that you're pretty good at guessing because Austin and Gian say that you have some sort of source inside of the locker room. So you know all the lineups the day before.
I would know about the injury.
You know the lineups the day before. So what's the lineup for tomorrow?
To be honest with you, I'm not, setting myself up. I really, really don't know because one, we don't have Aviles because he has a yellow card accumulation, so he's not playing. And so I would normally immediately just think, great, we're doing a back five. But now I don't know if that's the case because we don't, we could have it where Robert Taylor goes to the left and plays left wing, and then you have Noah Allen become the third center back. That's a possibility. I'll act like it is, but we also don't have Campana, which means our offense is going to be lacking, and that's why you maybe want Robert Taylor higher. So I'm going to give two scenarios. I can give you the one that here's option one. It's a back four, which is it's Allen, because also this isn't like a super high octane offense, that we're playing. This is a team that is winnable, and but is where we need to score and we need to be aggressive. And so that is why I could see it where it's a back four, where you have Miller, Kristoff, Yedlin and Noah Allen. And then your 3 midfielders, it's going to be Busquets, John Mota, and Arroyo. And then your 3 up top, it's going to be Farias on the left, Joseph Martinez in the center because Campana is unavailable, and Robert Taylor on the right. That's kind of option 1 in my eyes. And I'd say option 2 is where it's a back 5 where you have basically you just move Robert Taylor to the left and everything else stays the same. It's a 5,
so they're 2 pretty similar lineups.
Yeah, it's a 5-3-2 where in that situation, but maybe you exchange Arroyo or Busquets for a more forward, like a more offensive minded player. Like I could see that being a possibility where it's maybe a Stefanelli or Kromashki. I don't know. Or Gomez even. But yeah, that's what I imagine is going to be the personnel for the starting 11. I do think it's going to be John Mota unless either he has a setback or he's just not 100% ready to start games yet. That could still be a possibility. But if it isn't that, then I expect him to be kind of playing that number 10 role.
Yeah, and remember, like Tata Martino said, there are gonna be rotations. It doesn't also of course, it has to be with the tactics and everything, but it also has to be with the rotations and people. Like, they have played a lot of games in the last 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
With the Leagues Cup, with the MLS coming back. I mean, going to the final, winning that trophy was awesome. Going to the U.S. Open Cup final was great, but that means more and more and more games, almost like every 3 or 4 days in most of the cases. So this team is tired. We've seen in the last games how they're struggling at some points, like to really catch up to the rhythm of other teams they just seem more fresh. That's the reality of it. And we'll see what happens with Tata Martino and Inter Miami as they face Chicago Fire tomorrow. And we're gonna save this video and play it as soon as we have the lineup. See how many guesses Ashley had.
I mean, but you also, like I said, you also may see a complete 180 where they do a ton of rotations, right? Because you don't.
And what would be okay? Give me the crazy scenario. They go 180. What would it look like? Let's go and play a little bit. This is the time to do it.
Okay, and let's because we don't have our normal 3 center backs, and because I think for they're going to try and stretch it with the back 4. If we have a back 4, the back 4 is staying, that I said.
Okay, same. Okay.
But here's where it gets more interesting.
Okay.
Or actually, no, I scratched that. Okay, it's going to be a back 5. It's going to be this is the kind of crazy lineup. It's a back 5 with Robert Taylor on the left.
Okay.
The 2 midfielders, I think Busquets is going to not play. I think he's going to be rested. And it's going to be Arroyo and Gomez, one of them.
Ruiz, maybe?
Could be Ruiz. But yeah, the 2, it's going to be either like Arroyo. I wouldn't say Arroyo or Ruiz. I think it'd be one or the other. And then up top, you see Robbie Robinson. You see Robbie Robinson on the right, Facundo Farias on the left, and Joseph Martinez in the center.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's the thing about this new era of the Tata Martino era, that we have more options. Before he got here and before even Messi, Busquets, Alba, of course, but besides those 3 monsters that we have right now, they do have more options. They do have this capability of like rotating a little more, and depending on the rival, they can mix and match. And we'll see what they do against Chicago Fire. Drop your comments here. What do you think about the crazy lineup that Ashley just threw out there? What do you think about the previous 2 lineups that she threw out there? And what would your starting 11 would be if you were Tata Martino? Throw your comments down there. And also, you can do it also if you're just listening to this. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you can throw your comments as well. Or if not, you can also tweet at us at Messi and Co. Follow us there. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to our pods. Thank you, Ashley, for doing this preview with me. And
do you want to do quick predictions?
Yeah. Oh, you do predictions. Okay. You go first.
No,
you first. Okay, I'm going to do it first. I'm gonna say Inter Miami wins 2-1.
Yeah. So I actually think the same thing. I think Inter Miami
Ooh.
win 2-1, maybe even 3-1. But I think it's going to be a great atmosphere at Soldier Field.
Mhm.
Hopefully, while I now, because obviously with Messi, I don't expect all 65,000 to be there like they had hoped. I still think it's going to be a pretty big crowd, good energy, a nice night. Hopefully, we see a team that knows that they've kind of struggled the last two games, step it up, play with energy. Hopefully, Tata's going to say, "Let's attack, let's move forward, let's go back to what's worked for us in the last couple months, which is score goals early and be aggressive. Don't try and wait for the game to come to you." And so, yeah, let's hope Inter Miami get back on the right path. We can see Messi poised to come back for Saturday's game and keep the playoff push alive.
Hopefully that's the case, and we're gonna be there, of course, doing our live post game show as we usually do. And so be there with us. Whatever happens, don't leave.
Don't lose
Don't.
faith in Messi. It's just starting. It's just the
Yeah,
Messi
yeah, yeah.
time in Miami is just starting. He's played a lot of minutes. He's done a lot of amazing.
Oh, we lost Ashley right there, but she was saying that Messi has done a lot of amazing things, and I agree with her. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna wrap up this preview that we're doing right here with Inter Miami facing Chicago Fire on Wednesday night. Remember, Austin Robert is gonna be there. He was traveling today, that's why he wasn't part of this preview here in the show. But he is gonna be creating content from Chicago. So make sure you follow us at Messi and Co. Like we said on Twitter and also on Instagram if you're more of an Instagram content consumer. So thank you very much for joining us. We're gonna leave you with one other sponsor here on Messi and Co. And we'll see you tomorrow right after the game for the live post game show here on the Five Reasons YouTube channel. And for those listening to the pod, we'll drop the live post game right here as soon as the game is over and as soon as the live post game is over. Have a good one. Thank you very much and see you around.
Are you ready to transform your space into a masterpiece? Introducing Mosaics, your destination for stones and more. Mosaics is a family-owned business serving the community for over 20 years. With the best quality porcelain, ceramic tiles, and high-end mosaics featuring unique modern designs, Mosaics has everything you need. Dedicated customer service, wholesale distributors, and a passion for excellence. Make sure you visit mosaics.com today to turn your vision into a reality.